right, a very good afternoon to everyone following us today on today's program. Once again, you're welcome to ZEEK'S Diary TV show. And ZEEK'S Diary is that program that's always coming your way to look at pivotal issues that concern and affect children, parents, and teachers. On the program today, we'll be looking at the parental aspect of the show. Just so you know, I won't be doing this alone. I am here with Mrs. Tobori, my very good friend. She was here with us sometime last week, and it's our pleasure having you once again.
Thank you. It's good to be here. Good afternoon, everyone.
All right, I think I should just give you a minute or 30 seconds to begin to remember the good things you've heard about Mrs. Tobori. She's a financial expert. She's a graduate, an engineer by profession. She's been in the banking industry. She has written several books. Okay, can keep listing them by yourself. All right, so once again, it's our pleasure having you. And for those joining us for the first time, I remain Zoli Nekabari Vicent, the host of ZEEK'S Diary TV show. All right, so on today we are looking at something very important. Something very important because I am planning to do Yes I Do.
Have a safe trip.
So before I begin commence the journey of Yes I Do, I want to really prepare very well, equip myself. All right, so we're looking at the importance of family planning. The importance of family planning in achieving a healthy home financially, a financial healthy home, whichever way you want to preface it to fit yourself. So you know that wherever you see Mrs. Tobori, that's what so because saying health, according to WHO World Health Organization, they said it comprises of the mental, physical, and emotional well-being of an individual. But sometimes I say that definition is not very accurate because it both need to involve finance. Because if Sapa hits you, both your mental health, your social health will also be affected. So financial well-being of every home, the importance of family planning. So that's what we're looking at, generally.
Oh, fantastic. And when we say family planning, I think people mistake it to mean just stop having children.
Oh yeah, that's what
I'm not sure that's what family planning is. I love the word planning. Planning simply means preparing, positioning yourself for a future that you desire. That's really what planning is. Everything that you plan about is with an end goal that I want a better outcome. And it's the same thing for family planning. When you say you want to plan your family, you are saying, I want to position my family in such a manner that the outcome of this family will be something delightful to me. And for many people, they're immediately tied to a number of children because the cost of raising, training, educating a child is astronomical. It is huge. So if something as simple as number of children is not planned, then the family is going to be seriously endangered. And I think that's why people quickly tie it to number of children. But the truth is, if you are exceedingly wealthy, if you have all the money in the world, you can afford to have 20 children if you.
Oh wow!
Oh yes, if you have all the money, you have all the money in the world. But guess what? People who have uncountable money tend to have just 2 or 3 children. They don't even have many children. What does this tell you therefore? It tells you that they don't want to have many children. They want to have the adequate number of children that they can love equally, train equally, cater for equally, and still be satisfied with the outcome. And I think that's what family planning is. A situation where every member of the family will be happy. Every member of the family will be adequately taken care of. There's no point having 15 children and only the first 2 go to school. Okay. Then it tells me that family is not planned. If your resources are enough to send only 2 children to school, then you should plan for 2 children.
You know, another thing is, Africans, we believe in miracle a lot. I read a book by Katrikoma, yeah, I believe in miracles. Yeah, some persons still believe in the possibilities of you can have 2 children, 5 children, and there's no money, and before you know the 6th one will bring miracle, financial breakthrough. boom, the year that Daddy has gotten a job with Shell Nigeria, breakthroughs everywhere. So I think generally family planning in terms of finance depends on the number of children you can have, and can also at the same time secure happiness for them, take care of the responsibility and everything. What about the terms of this miracle I'm talking about? Remember scripture said, go ye into the world and multiply. Because and like I said, I want to say yes, I do so.
It's amazing. It's amazing how people, if you want to use scripture, it's amazing how people pick the part of scripture that supports their bad behavior.
So that's bad behavior.
When the scripture also mentioned, have you seen the man who wants to build a house and does not first sit down and plan how to build that tower? I noticed they don't go that way; they go to the other part. But I think really, family planning is very serious. You need to, as a husband and wife who want to start the journey of having a family, decide how big should our family be? How many children should we have? Because if you just two of them, it's fine. But when you want to introduce third parties, and children are third parties, when you want to introduce third parties, you need to say, okay, how many children can we have, and will we still be able to love each other and still love the children? Because for many couples, the minute they start having children, the love they have for each other begins to wane, because there's so much pressure on the woman, pressure on the man's finances. The man used to work one job, he was able to care for the family, but now he has to do 2 or 3 jobs and additional businesses.
And still not comfortably care for the
Exactly, and the children don't get to see him. So you need to sit down and say, okay, you know what, dear husband, dear wife, how many children do we want to have? Why do we want to have this number of children? If we have this number of children, what are the facilities we will need to be able to comfortably cater to them? For instance, if you say you want to have 4 children, the minute you make a decision to have 4 children as a couple, it will determine the kind of car you will buy. Because a saloon car will not be able to carry those children, and every child will be properly strapped in the car. Because a saloon car will not be able to take 4 children at the back, because it means one child will sit without a seatbelt. Yes, you can say, oh, this is Nigeria, we'll sit 6 at the back, but it's not the right thing to do. If you find yourself out of this country, you will not be able to sit in one car. You will now have to get a minivan, meaning that even the kind of car you buy has changed. If you have more than 4 children, that the standard dining table will not contain the 5th child. So we have the 5th child sit, or the father will not sit there. So these are the things you need to sit down and say, these are the number of children we want to have. And by extension, because we want to have this number of children, this is the kind of house we want to build, these are the kind of things we want to, this is the kind of school we want our children to attend. This is the kind of food we want our children to eat. These are the kinds of clothes we want our children to wear. We would like our children to travel on a vacation, whether, even if it's a staycation, that's where you stay in a place and just enjoy, even if it's traveling within the city, even if it's traveling within the country, even if it's traveling overseas. All of these considerations must be done before the children start coming. All of this is what determines the number of children you have. When you sit down and you do the numbers, you will know. Nobody will tell you how many children you should have.
You're already scaring me. I think I'll go for 1, or I will write to your husband to adopt me.
You have enough.
Oh, you have enough already?
You have planned out.
Alright, so to our dear parents outside and to my fellow Nigerians at large, in case you're still single, like maybe single like I, don't say you're single like me at all. So in case you're still single, you yet to settle down or to say yes I do, I think all these are very important to put into consideration before settling down, so you don't get trapped financially along the line, so you don't fall into depression, so you don't also lose the chances of living your normal life. Because some person said, maybe you get married, there is a new phase of life, you now entitled to answer hardship as a title, or poverty or kind of name. No. You can still be married, you can still have children and be happy.
That's right.
It is possible, and it is easier raising a healthy home when you are happy.
That's right.
And happiness in its entirety. Currently, either you like it or not, you can quote me, depend on your financial strength.
Absolutely.
Because there are always desires, but you cannot afford those desires beyond your pocket power.
That's right.
So if you want your children to go on vacation to or spend weekend at pleasure park, or spend weekend at your village in a chair or somewhere, you start planning from now.
That's right.
So immediately you start thinking of numbers of children that your finance, your present finance. So before we all plan for a brighter future.
That's right.
But the future works on the principles of probability, either we like it or not.
True.
Because there are always chances, and these chances are unequal. So you can never say that you're 100% certain of the future.
That's right.
Yeah, so you plan from now. If you want to raise the bar, let it be that there are also physical chances or possibilities to take care of the next level you want to move into. So you don't just plan in, maybe you are depending on your uncle that's in UK. Your uncle gives you 10 million during your marriage, and you take a space at
Your uncle wants to give you 10 million.
The rate is high now. The rate is high.
Your uncle has planned his finances.
Okay, he has planned his finances. Okay. No, those there, they have plenty of money.
That's what we hope.
Maybe you got a contract of 15 million naira, and you know this thing doesn't come all the time.
True.
Doesn't come all the time, come at intervals. So you know, because you have 15 million naira today, you're planning a home of 15 million naira.
That's right.
So you discover that in the long run, you get into a trap that you need only God and God alone to bring you out.
True.
So we need financial literacy and adequate planning before we get into all of this. We'll be going on a very short break, and when we come back, we'll have more to discuss on this. Alright, you're welcome back. So thank you very much for those fantastic opinions, and for you to drop yours on the show, you can always visit my social media handles, and you have the privilege of airing your opinion on the topics that we'll be sharing on ZEEK'S Diary ahead of time. And you can drop your questions also on my mail at zolivicent60. That mail is special for ZEEK'S Diary, and we'll also share your questions on the show and your opinions as well. So let's go back to family planning.
That's right.
In respect to finance.
Yes. So you know, some parents begin to resent their children. They say to themselves, you actually hear parents say, if not for these children, I would have lived a happier, my life would have been happier. These children are the cause of my hard retirement. I spent my whole life training them. Oh, my retirement is big. In fact, you are my retirement plan. I paid for school fees, so you will be the one to take care of me in retirement. If I hear that kind of statement from a parent, it tells me very clearly that that parent did not plan for the family.
That's all.
Family planning prevents all of those ridiculous statements that parents tend to make. The choice to have a child was totally yours. The responsibility to raise the child was yours. The responsibility to plan your own future with the child in the picture is also yours. It is not your child's responsibility to take care of you because you did your responsibility. Lack of family planning puts a lot of people in this space where they innately, some of them despise the amount of sacrifices they made for their children, but they don't say it aloud, but you can see it in their action. You can see it. They're always sad, they're always angry, they're always hissing every time. If not be the money why I spend for this weekend, if not be the money I know we are for dummy, if not be, you can over here.
What is less arrive street that I cannot write?
Oh yeah, so what is money? So you hear parents saying this, and it tells me that that family was not planned. When we were about to get married, my husband likes children. He loves the idea of a large family. He really wanted to have maybe 5 children.
He can still do it. I think I'm adopt
Oh. Hey, and I wanted 2. And he said 2 was just way too small. And I said 5 was way too. I didn't understand where the 5 was coming from. So we sat down, we put our heads together, and then we did what we call the education plan, the children's education plan, where you sit down and you analyze the cost of raising a child from birth to tertiary education. At least just fees. We analyze the fees. As I speak to you today, the cost of training a child in Nigeria is approximately 20 million naira. 20 million naira for one child. That's just education. We have not talked about feeding the child. We've not talked about clothing the child. If it's a female child, we've not talked about the cost of personal sanitary wares. We've not talked about
somebody listening to the program now is saying, is it decided to put us at that level now? What of community primary school?
Okay, so that's the community. That's supposed to community primary school. This number that I use is not a high level. Community, do the math for community primary school. The school fees, they'll tell you the school fees is free, Abby.
It's not free. You pay
It
for
is
exam,
not free.
You pay for booklet.
They'll tell you pay for broom, pay for this, pay for zobo, pay for keke, pay for. By the time they're finished billing you, when you look at it, the cost per term is not less than 50,000 naira a term for one child, and that child is going to be in basic education for 10 years. 150,000 times 10 years is 1.5 million naira. Some people say, no, it's not 10 years. The child will enter school from 4 years. I say, no. From birth, that child is costing you money. If you say you will not put the child in a crèche, if you keep the child at home, it means the woman is sacrificing her time.
Yes.
So the cost of that sacrifice is more than 50,000 naira. In fact, it's estimated at 100,000 a month. But let's say, oh no, you say that's the level. Okay, 1.5 million is primary school. Secondary, how much? This is one child. If you even say pata, no matter how you cut it, have you trained a child in teenage years before? Before you know, secondary is about 3 million naira. This is lowest.
Lowest.
So we are dealing with government. When government is saying, don't worry, I will pay the school fees, not private. If it's private, these numbers we are calling will not work. So if you say, okay, government, what maybe 3 million naira for secondary. University, how will you avoid it? If you say, okay, I'll go to a state university, state universities are more expensive than federal.
More expensive.
If you say federal, the minimum you need for a federal to train a child in federal university today is 500,000 naira. How much more in the future? So 500 times 5 years, that's 2.5 million. 2.5 plus 1.5, that's 4 million.
Wonderful.
4 million plus 3 million, that's 7 million. So we agree, it's not up to 20 million. You have the 7 million. That's 4 children. That's 28 million.
Your sessions are usually
So 28 million, that is the question.
since you want to give me a heart attack.
So for parents that are always quick to say, oh, now they won't put their picket, don't look at the other person. Sit down, put your own head down and calculate your own. This does not cover shoe, socks, biro, book,
Brunch.
Brunch.
You know we have breakfast, lunch, dinner. We have brunch.
You have to eat.
Not just brunch. We have brunches now.
Right. And snacks, and school party, and party park. Come on, training a child is not cheap. You must put your head. So what we did in mathematics, my husband and I, when we did all the maths, I didn't say a word. Sometimes to say children are good. Guess how many children were? 3. Father and 3 children are very happy. Our last born is in JS1. She is our last born. Yeah, there's a reason she's called last born.
Our last born.
She said she wanted a younger one. In fact, she had prayed. She actually was going on her knees and praying, Father Lord, please touch my mommy and daddy's hand so that they can give me a baby brother. I just called her and I said, this prayer, don't bother. God is not going to answer the prayer. So what are teddy bear? That teddy bear, that teddy bear is Barney. Barney is the name of her teddy. No, Winnie. Winnie is the name of her teddy. And Winnie is officially our last born. But Winnie, we don't pay school fees. We don't pay Winnie is a very, very affordable last born. So Winnie is her baby brother. So parents, you may need to adopt a Winnie as the last born if your children are insistent. But because you need to look at your numbers. And when we did the analysis, every time I want to tease my husband, I say, sweetie, how far do you still want the 2 children? That's how he will pray over me and bind the spirit of additional children. Family planning is not a joke. You need to sit down, put your head down and calculate the cost. The cost of building the tower must be calculated before the foundation is laid.
All right, on the frequently asked question, it's a question that came in before the program. And the question goes this way, said, what about those that are already married and maybe have 5, 6, 7, 8 children, as obeying scriptures, going to the word and multiply, and our brothers in the north that the weather is very cold, and as such, we always have where to put our place to. So how, what remedies, how would, what should they take to come up from this?
Okay, so they can still plan their families. It's, like I said, planning your family is about looking at where you want the family to be, considering the resources you have. So let's say you already have 5 children, you must come back quickly and say, can we afford this school that these children are attending? Should we still be paying transportation to get them to school? Is there a nearby school that is more affordable? Can we augment maybe the quality of the school is not as good as we want it to be? Can we send them there and then augment with home lessons, or support them with our own? Because most parents are not sharp. That's why they cannot help the children with homework. In my home, I have never paid a lesson teacher before for my children. When they bring the homework, we do it, we sit down and we crack our heads, we try together. If I don't understand it, their father will understand it. If their father doesn't understand it, I will understand it. There's no how. 2 of us are graduates now. There's no how 2 of us will put our heads together. If you say, okay, you don't understand it, you cannot cope, then you may have to hire the services of a support teacher to help the children through, if you feel that the school will not be enough. But this is not the time to say, oh, I must send them, I insist these children must go to a certain level of school.
One thing that causes one factor for a child must go to a certain school currently is this habit of, I have a friend, we're working in the same office, and the friend's child is going to one big school in Port Harcourt where they pay 1 million, and my own child is going to a school where I'm paying 70,000 $80,000. Look as if I'm not meeting up. Many people fail to understand that these people, sometimes they are not training, most of the time, not just sometimes, most of the time they don't train these children from their salary or with their salary. Most of them already had investment elsewhere that is taking care of these bills or have a supportive system. So, and if you are depending on same salary and you think that both of you are the same financial level, it might never be the same all the time.
Or it just tells me the person doesn't have a plan. I mean, if you have a plan, I was a banker, I had very wealthy clients, wealthy colleagues, and if you know me, I'm not moved by those sentiments, and that's where every parent has to be. What moves you, what determines what you will do is your financial plan. It is your own plan. You will plan according to your finances. You're not going to plan according to another man's pocket or according to the expectations from someone else's pocket. No, you are planning according to what you have available on ground. And if you do that, there are no guarantees. There's no saying that the child who attends a more expensive school will turn up with the best grades or will turn up to have a brighter future. No, there are no guarantees. Give your child the best with what you have, where you are. Be emotionally available to the child. And really that's what family planning says. That I will not deprive my child of my attention and my time because I have put myself under so much pressure that I'm chasing money and I am not able to chase my child's happiness. Some parents are so all over the place chasing the money to put the children in expensive schools, and they are not available to provide basic parenting.
I have said it before, and I keep saying it, that quality education does not depend on the amount or how
Absolutely.
much. Quality education, I said, quality education. And what's education? Education has been defined over time again and again as the ability to convert an illiterate to a literate, that is the ability to read and write, acquire basic information about life, and do well. Basically, I don't want to go to other part of it so you don't start thinking otherwise, but quality education in its complete sense and definition does not depend on how much. So if you can get a school that is affordable and you can do it at ease, so you can attend PTA meeting with a smile, not with cutlass. Because we've seen a lot.
To fight provider.
We've seen a lot, yeah. So I discovered this is complaining, my child's homework. It's not homework, it's school fees. It's school fees. You come with 3 people and keep at the gate. I'm talking about big schools.
That's right.
So I'm not talking about ordinary Nigerians like that are maybe paying school fees of 20,000. I'm talking about big schools. So you discover that many of these people are sweating to pay. They are not doing it at ease.
That's right.
Training a child should be done at ease. It shouldn't be done with too many pressure, so you can live a happy life and have your mental health balanced and okay. So you don't become an abnormal human being from the day you start having children.
That's right.
So you don't say, this man was chubby, handsome, good looking, and since he got children, and this
Oh yes,
the children have become a reason why for your misery.
That's right.
So it shouldn't be so. Children are gifts. Children are gifts from God. So, and they deserve our best. And if you're already giving that your best, you give it with happiness, with joy. So when you are not doing parenting with anger or feel bullied by training these children, they have a cost. So you are already in the trap. So to come out of all of this, if you're already in it, is to start looking for other financial
look at alternatives.
alternatives.
You can do alternatives. You can look at, but you still first of all have to evaluate the cost. You may need to reduce some of your expenses. You may need to reduce some of your expectations. You may need to lower the standards a bit. They are lower. In fact, you can lower the cost without lowering the standard. Expensive doesn't necessarily mean best. So you can reduce expenses. You can also do alternatives. So if you say that you cannot reduce the cost of education lower than where it currently is, look at other costs that are involved in the child's life. For instance, cost of going on vacation, cost of feeding. You can reduce take away certain kinds of foods, replace with other kinds of food. Instead of buying new shoes every other month, you can say, okay, we'll get shoes twice a year or once a year. You can say, well, we'll get new clothing. You need to say that, but you must sit down and do the analysis. Ask yourself, what is the total cost of training this child? Where is the bulk of the expense coming from? What can I do? For example, when it comes to hair, some people spend as much as 3,000 naira every other week to make their daughter's hair. The question is, does she really have to make her hair? Most children, if you ask the children, they are in pain. They don't want to blow the guy. It's the parents, the mothers that want the child to look beautiful, to reflect on their own personality. Some of these costs are not necessary. We can reduce them. Some of us go through so much effort just to make our children look fly, to feel among and be part of the Joneses, really. All of that has to go while you sit down and do the analysis. If you've already incurred a big family, you can still be a happy family. If you settle down, do a proper children's education plan, do a proper family plan, your family will be just fine.
Parenting and raising family shouldn't be done out of debt or with debt.
That's right.
So, to avoid all of this, please plan your life according to the available resources.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. You've done a wonderful job.
Thanks for having me.
All right. So before we leave the set today, one word for my dear parents.
Oh, parents, you are doing very well. Please don't deprive yourself of happiness because you are trying to make your children get to a particular standard. Plan your family before they come. If they're already here, then plan them with what you have, not what you're expecting.
Thank you very much, and do not forget to follow us on all our social media handles. I remember